Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to talk about something a little different today, and I want to talk about my business. So, I'm a personal trainer for women and seniors, and it's kind of a unique little niche that I have that I do for my job and for a living. And so, I'm just going to kind of talk about what makes it work, the ups, the downs, um, and if I'd recommend it for other people, if you guys are looking to be a personal trainer or want a job that is really satisfying, rewarding, and you can have your own business. So, like I mentioned, I'm a personal trainer for women and seniors. So a lot of the times I will go to their home on a regular basis, or they come to my apartment complex and we work at the luxury apartment center downstairs. So I've done this for about 8 years on my own. And I've learned a lot in the last 8 years, things I wish I could tell myself 8 years ago. And so this video will be sort of about that. Um, yeah, I've talked to a lot of people that are interested, that are really fit and want to do something like this and really want to show other people how to do it. And so maybe this will be helpful for you. Um, when I started, I was working at 24 Hour Fitness and I was a yoga instructor. So that's where I got my start. Um, I did have a lot of background in kind of the bodybuilding world. I was friends with some bodybuilders in New York, and that was really helpful because I got to work out with them and learn from them for 2 to 3 years, which was really beneficial. That was actually the most beneficial training, was actually working out with people that knew how to work out and that were very dedicated. So I would say, yeah, if you're looking to be a personal trainer, the best thing that you can do originally is become a good exerciser yourself, and really know about how to work the equipment and feel comfortable in the gym and be able to move in any gym and to get a good workout with any kind of equipment. So that was good. I worked when I started at 24 Hour Fitness. That was really good in Plano, Texas, because I got to work with a lot of people. I also had an incredible boss who pushed me to become a personal trainer. I didn't have a job at the time. She pushed me to get my personal training certificate, CPR, AED, all those things. She really was instrumental in, she believed in me, and so that was key, is to have that person that believes in you and that can see you being a trainer before you can. It's scary to start a new job and to do something that you have never done before. And it just takes one person to believe in you and say, you can do this. So that was really a godsend. Her name was Amanda. She's still alive. Her name is Amanda. So anyway, so that was really good. I started being a yoga teacher. I'd been taking yoga all the way back in New York as well before becoming a trainer. And I really wanted to be a yoga teacher. I liked what it did to the body. I liked what it did to my mind. It was a time of a lot of turmoil in my life, and yoga was able to help me calm down and to channel it into something that was beneficial to my health. So, yeah, became a yoga teacher, got my yoga teacher training. And that was helpful to add on top of the personal training. So there was the fitness and the muscle building, but there was also the mobility and the balance and the flexibility, that sort of thing, and the calmness to really just stop moving the body for a while. So those two things together, as I started training at 24 Hour Fitness, helped lay the foundation for having a good practice, if you will. And then meeting a lot of people, I quickly realized that not everybody has the same body as me. Not everybody moves the same way as me. And the biggest thing is that not everybody has the same mind as me. And that's what you're going to find as a trainer, is that your concept of what is fit is not someone else's concept of fit, nor should it be. That took me years. So as I mentioned, I've been in it for 8 years. When I first began, I thought everyone should and wanted to be the level that I was at and operating on, which was extremely intense. Very little forgiveness for the self. It was daily in the gym. Every calorie was being counted. It was hours and hours of mobility and movement, where I've now learned that people that are coming to the gym, some of them are like that, some of them are not, and nor should they be. They're not in a position to do that, and everybody is different. Literally every body is different. Every mind is different. Everyone is in a different place spiritually, and the best lesson I've learned is that you as an effective trainer, need to meet them where they are, and your practice is completely separate from their practice. So you are their coach. You are not trying to pull them to where you are. You're trying to meet them where they are and watch their body and see where their mind is at. And like my friend Amanda did for me, just believe in them and see them as a little bit better than they are at that moment. Doesn't have to be mountains ahead, just a little bit. And so if they can believe through your belief that they can get a little bit better, they do take steps at a time. And that's what it is just steps at a time. And some of their steps look different than your steps. So while it is really beneficial to have the knowledge, to know your way around the equipment, to know how to work out, to have that background, it's actually just as beneficial to have patience and love for the person in front of you. That's going to make it better. So yes, you're a trainer, but it is very easy to push someone away by pushing too hard, or too much critiquing. A lot of the times these people are working extremely hard. A lot of the times they're working harder than you at your own at fitness, but they're at a different place. So they're actually exercising a lot more struggle than you are. And so if you push, it can push them away. So that is a little bit of background. I wrote some notes too about kind of what I've seen in the last 8 years. It's been really good to keep people working out and to get some success with their fitness and their lives and their health. The best thing that I've found, so again, I mentioned I either have them come to the gym now with me. So I left 24-hour fitness now. I'm no longer a yoga teacher. I was teaching classes and that sort of thing. It's a totally different demographic. A lot of people, when I was teaching yoga, it was people that are really struggling spiritually and that want to channel it into fitness. And so I did a lot of power yoga, and that was super cool because everybody around was really fit and we were really dedicated. And it was just this powerhouse of emotion and strength and poses. And we were working so hard, sweat, tears, so that was a cool environment. And then of course, those of you that watch my channel, I've found Orthodox Christianity and realized that what I was looking for in yoga, it's just there. It's right there, but it's not the whole thing. You find what you're looking for, which is the truth in Orthodox Christianity. So I left yoga behind, and there was a lot of time of mourning because I missed the physical. I missed the camaraderie. I also kind of missed the safety of being on the mat and having women around me. So, and also women that were like me, we were all kind of scared of people. And so when you're on your mat and you have some space between the other mats, the other people are doing what you're doing, but you have physical space between you and the next person a lot of the time. Some of the times the classes are cramped, but anyway, that's kind of, I'm going down a little tangent. But when I found Orthodox Christianity, I had to give up that illusion of safety. It was a physical boundary of safety, but the reality was it's just kind of an illusion of safety. And going into the church with men and women and children and grandparents, and now you're in a world where you have to get comfortable with everyone, all of God's children, not just people who look like you and are doing exactly what you're doing. No, that was comforting, but the real fulfillment, of course, comes from the Orthodox Church, being in church, receiving the sacraments, and you get everything. You get everything that you're looking for spiritually within the church. That said, going back to training, so I had to give up my yoga practice for that reason, is that spiritually it's off. I think though, for what I do now as a personal trainer, it was actually pretty beneficial because I do have a lot of that mobility and flexibility and balance background. I do know how to stretch the body well, thanks to all those years on the mat. So, but what I was looking for in yoga is I was looking for the spiritual aspect, not so much the physical. The physical was a really nice side effect. Now that I have the spiritual in the church, I have the added benefit of knowing about the physical for my clients and for myself as well. So, yes, I think it's really good if you're working with people to have some mobility, stretching background, because especially with seniors, a lot of them are concerned. Their biggest thing is just health and mobility and getting around and balance. There's a lot of concern for falling, because when they fall, a lot of the times it's very difficult to get up from the floor. And so their injuries aren't necessarily that their biceps aren't strong enough. That's kind of a misconception as well. I'm getting older. I need to build my muscles, which, yes, but the biggest thing is having the mobility to get around the floor, get up and down off the floor, to overhead reach into the microwave, to play with your grandkids, to get up and down stairs in your house easily, to be able to garden effectively, and to bend over, to get back up without hips blowing out, So that's where mobility comes in. All that to be said, how then am I effective, or how is one an effective personal trainer for seniors and women in general? In general, anyone who is more looking towards their full health rather than just aesthetics, the way they look. That's kind of what I do now. Whereas originally it was a little bit more aesthetics. Now it's health and longevity and maintaining the ability to move. And that's what the seniors are looking for. So the biggest thing that causes success, I think, is the accountability. So most of the time I do 2 to 3 times a week at people's homes, or they come to see me here at my apartment complex. It's really important to keep a schedule. That's the key. It's not a specific exercise. So if you're in pain in a certain area, yes, it's important to target specific exercises for that area. But the biggest thing is you're going from not ever working out and not ever moving to moving now. So your brain needs to accept the fact that you're moving now. So it's really important for the trainer to keep that schedule for them at that specific time every week, same time, on time. And so that encourages the client to get in the habit of, we move our body now. Just like work, you would show up to work at 9 a.m. Now you show up to your trainer at 2 o'clock every Tuesday. That's very, very important. And they start to think of it as like a doctor's appointment, which it is. It's not pills. It's not some kind of injectable treatment, but it's the reality of how you stay mobile and fit and healthy. So accountability is number one. The second thing that really works is music. I have a cute little pink boombox that I take to people's homes, and we play their favorite music, and that is really helpful. People move a lot more with music. So that's kind of like a drug in a way, but it's a beneficial drug. So a lot of times with the seniors, we'll play Frank Sinatra or Three Dog Night or Elvis or something like that. And it's really fun, not only for them, but for me to be able to kind of get into their world of the music that they loved growing up. But they move so much more, as does anyone, when you put music on. So that's super great, is to just kind of be able to let them relax and dance while they're moving. So a lot of the time, some of these seniors, we just walk. Just walking is huge around the house without a walker, and just, slowly moving. And then when we put their music on, it's really cool to see them kind of come alive in ways they didn't think they could, but they can, So another thing that makes an effective trainer is it's really important to watch their body. Not to have an idea of what they're going to do. I used to do that. If you have an idea of exactly what you're going to do in the session, like you've planned out the exercises, that's good to have a plan and to have prepared. And it's really important to watch their body. If something's not moving or giving, you need to have a switch and switch it up. And you have to have some tools in your belt that are other exercises that you didn't plan for that you can do that day. And that happens over 50% of the time. It's also a mood thing. You have to watch their mood. If they are not in the mood to work real hard, there's life is happening at these people's houses. And a lot of times they've gotten into something that was difficult for them that day. And so they have to be worked up to exercising, or some days they're really on it, like, let's go. And you have to go with that. So it's really important for the trainer to be flexible and to be really in tune with the client and their mood and their body. So sometimes their ankle is just not going to work for you that day. And so you're going to have to do seated exercises. And sometimes they won't even understand that their body is not cooperating, there's some kind of cognitive dissonance at times between the client and their body, as we all can get. Like, I don't believe my body can't do this. I can will myself into doing this. A lot of the times that's not, the body just is like, nope, we're not doing it today. So you have to have this pleasant disposition and help the client understand that it's not their fault. It has nothing to do with their willpower. Their body's just not doing that. So we're going to do something that their body it can do and willing to do that day. So, yeah, so you have to watch their mood, their body. Also, being a trainer is really good because you're an outside person in somebody's life that's their cheerleader. We all need cheerleaders. We all need fans that are not so involved in our lives. Like, we don't have a personal vested interest in them liking us, or if they do or do not do something, we just want the best for them. So that's really important for them to understand that they can kind of tell you anything. A lot of these people, some of them have therapists or, but it's really nice to have almost this closed space that they can say whatever they want to say. When you start to move your body, you start to feel a little bit more like comfortable. It's really important to know that there's a safe space there for that hour where anything can be said and there's no judgment, and it's a place of peace and a place of getting better no matter what. And the person that's coming into their home is their fan and on their team. So that's really cool. And adds a big benefit to personal training, is just having someone that cares about you and believes in you and is on your side. It helps you to do better. Everybody wants that, to have somebody who loves them and believes in them. So as a trainer, you get to be that person. It's really important also to take note. What I've learned, these people that come into your lives, to add the God element to it, like, it's important to remember that God brings them and you kind of do your best to build your business, but ultimately God is the one who's bringing these people to you, and they're precious. So and they're putting some trust in your hands to behave correctly and to bring the right energy and to love them properly and to train them properly and to care for their bodies and their souls and their minds. So, a lot of times it's really important, if there's something big going on in their life, to put it on your calendar and to text them or call them when that big thing is happening. Because yes, they're your client, but they're also people in your lives that you're responsible for caring about. And so it's really good to take note of big things in their lives. A lot of times they're coming to you because something traumatic has happened to them. There's been a fall, there's been a stroke, there's been an accident, there's been a disease, or even sometimes something is coming up, like a wedding or graduation party, whatever have you. But they're really important things to them. And so to make that important to you is one of the biggest things you can do as a trainer, is to realize why they're coming to you. So making it personal like that is really, really important for being a personal trainer. All right, so moving on, that was kind of like what I've noticed of how to be successful and what makes a good trainer in general. Now I'm going to talk about kind of having your own business, the upsides and the downsides to that. So again, I work for myself. There's a lot of upside, a huge upside. Number one, I love having my own business. There's no boss. I guess my clients are kind of my boss, but it really is on you, everything, your failures, your successes. It's nice. There's a lot of responsibility. There's reason to wake up in the morning. There's always something to do. You can always think about a client and what their day looks like and what they're doing in their homework or how they did last, or text somebody. There's always marketing that could be done. There's always an update to the website. There's always social media. You could, whatever it is, there's something to do. So there is not a lot of, I'm bored with my job. There's a lot of moving parts, and everybody is in different stages. So it's, you're constantly texting and seeing where people are and rearranging schedules. People travel and things like that. So that was another thing. If you're your own personal trainer, you can kind of set your own schedule. So you work with people, obviously, to set their schedule, and you keep your schedule pretty uh, rigid once you've set your schedule, because as I mentioned before, the accountability aspect of it and staying on time. Um, but yeah, it's nice to run your own schedule. So if you need to take off, you can. If you need to move someone around, you can ask. You don't have to go through a boss or anybody like that. You can just text them directly. So, yeah, and the biggest upside is that it's rewarding. It's really rewarding to see people week after week after week and watch them improve and just be with them in their lives and be that positive force. It is such a rewarding job. It's not like other jobs. I've had other jobs. I've been a waitress, I have been a travel agent, I have worked at an investment bank. Um, all the jobs I've had have been fun and rewarding in their own way, but this one is really personal. And if you like people, even if you don't like people, you will like people more when you become a personal trainer, because you really get to see and people's struggles and see different lives. It makes you humble. It is a beautiful thing to witness love in different families and people really wanting to be better. And so it's super rewarding. Um, Downsides, I would say, it feels bad to let people go. Sometimes it's necessary. This, as I mentioned, it's a very, very personal job. So sometimes people that come to you are not a good fit. And if they're not a good fit and there's tension and you don't let them go, you will carry that tension over into your other sessions, because your mood will feel that hit from having just one client that is not working. So it's extremely important to make sure that the people in your roster, if you will, are positive in a way that doesn't bring you down. So I've had a few situations where I was too much of a coward to let go of people, and that set in on my mood, and it translated over into my whole life, and I would whine about it, and it would affect my other clients and my own mood, and I wasn't as effective of a trainer. So I had to get better at recognizing pretty quickly the ones that were not a good fit. And the good news is there is someone that they're a fit for. And it would be weird if I was a good fit for everyone, or a some specific trainer was a good fit for everyone, just like a therapist or a priest. Not everyone is a good fit for everyone. And so you'll find your niche and who works for you. And it's really important to stick with that. And if something is not working or it feels off, it's best to just call it early and then maybe recommend them to someone else. So luckily I have a trainer that I work with, that I can send people to, and he is phenomenal, and he takes care of them. So that's really good. So you're not really just leaving them hanging. You can send them to someone else. So that's a downside. It's a little, it's never fun to do that, but it's part of the job. Another thing is, if you do have to cancel because an appointment, it feels bad. Like, for example, this week has been a really rough week because one of my favorite people, one of my clients who I've been training for a year, twice a week, passed away. And so he had a funeral 2 days ago, and I had to cancel my day, and I had to cancel two of my clients. And I hate doing that because, as I mentioned, accountability is extremely important. And at the same time, I felt very obligated to go to the funeral and then have some downtime. So things like that, having to cancel, it's difficult to do that. You can do it, but sometimes there's so much going on, you just can't make everyone happy and do everything you need to do, and that's difficult. It's part of the job, and you just do your best to stay accountable when you can, as much as you can, and sometimes you just can't. So also another part that is, I guess it could be a benefit or a downside, would be it's feast or famine. Sometimes everybody wants to book all at the same time and you feel like you're rich. And then the next thing you realize is like, well, they've bought training for 3 months out. So it looks like you're rich, but you're really not, because you're not going to get paid again for the next 3 months. So it can be like that. I don't know why energies work like that, but sometimes everybody comes all at the same time and wants to book and wants to pay. And then you service the sessions and it takes a while, and then it feels like you're working, but you're not getting paid. So, but again, that's part of the job, and it's another reason why you wake up in the morning. It's high stress. It's you have to manage all of that and count sessions. And so I don't know whether you'd call that a downside or not, but it's part of the job. It's difficult to budget. Let's put it that way. I've been doing the Dave Ramsey program, and everybody has that in the class has like a salary, and they can budget that way. And I just there's so many cancellations too. It's hard to project income for the future. It's hard to know. You get one client and your whole income changes, and it can happen, or you can get two new ones, and it's just like you have just you've just gotten so much more money. Or people can get sick, people can go on vacation, people can need doctor's appointments, or whatever it is, you lose people, and that can bring it way down, and you never really know. It's very, very difficult to project and to plan. So that's just how it is, and that's part of the job. And so if you are not prepared for that, then this is not the job for you. So it would be good, if you're getting into this job, to really start to learn how to save early, so you don't feel stress when there are moments or months of the famine times, and don't get too excited when there's the feast times, right? You have to have a lot of self-control, a lot of self-discipline, and you have to put a cap on your excitement. That's really important. What else? Yeah, I think the last thing I was going to mention is also like the marketing and things, that you're kind of responsible for that on your own. So you have to get really comfortable in your own skin and doing goofy things like going to talk to people you don't know and promote yourself, it's very weird at first to promote yourself like a product. The thing is, though, and it's goofy, no one likes doing it. I mean, maybe some people do. I don't like doing it. Like, well, I'm a good trainer for this reason and that reason, and here's me. And I'm getting better at it. It is goofy. I much prefer when someone sends me a referral, because that way, like, their experience speaks for me rather than me trying to sell myself. But at the same time, that's just part of the job, and you have to get used to it real fast, because no one else is doing it for you unless you hire somebody. And if you're at the level that I'm at, which is just a personal basis, no one's doing that. So you have to get comfortable in front of a camera. You have to get comfortable promoting yourself on a website, building your own website, talking to people, getting business cards, putting them places. So asking for testimonials and referrals. So that's what I have. If you're interested in being a personal trainer, that's kind of how it goes. I think I would recommend it. I think it's really, really rewarding. I think it keeps you alive. I think just the people that I've met and worked with have made my life so much fuller. There's one woman I work for. I've been training her since I was at 24 Hour Fitness, so 8 years. She was pregnant when I met her, and all she wanted to, she really likes to play. So she wanted to play basketball. She wanted to swim. And she loves Disney tunes. And so we always play Disney music and would work out. So she, of course, had her baby, and it's been 8 years. And now I work out with her still, and the baby, once a week. And it is, well, she's not a baby anymore. She's 8 now. But that is just that's what I'm talking about. Like, you really are in their lives. Christmases, Halloweens, like all the seasons every year. We exchange gifts on birthdays. I mean, that's being in someone's life and watching them. And now her daughter knows how to do squats, and she knows how to do lunges, and she knows how to do push-ups, and we do Superman in the pool. So it's cool, because you're kind of going into, you gain love in places you don't expect being a personal trainer. You see love where you don't expect it. You learn so much. It's the best job in the world, I think. If you can handle it, and if you can hang in there, and be responsible and show up. That's the thing. And if they show up and you show up, there's magic that can happen. So anyway, that's what I've got. A little bit different today, but that's what I do. If you guys have any questions, let me know. But that's a little bit of life of personal trainer in Texas. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful June. It's May 31st today. So yes, I hope you guys have a wonderful June, and I will see you soon.